Let's talk about the future of work. It's one of those topics that can make you a little anxious, right? Will a robot take my job? Are the skills I have becoming, obsolete? It is so easy to get lost in all the headlines. But today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We've taken the research and boil it down to 10 essential facts that give you a really clear picture of what's actually happening. So let's dive in.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the big challenge, how the job market is already changing, and of course, the huge role automation is playing. Then, we're going to explore this really weird paradox and how we think about it all. And most importantly, we'll wrap up with the solutions. What skills are going to matter the most, and the new ways we'll all be learning them.
Okay, so first things first. This is not some sci-fi far-off future event. The ground has been shifting under our feet for decades, and when you actually look at the data, it's pretty staggering.
This chart right here tells a story that's 35 years long. Between 1980 and 2015, as things like manufacturing started to change, the economy began demanding a totally different kind of worker. Think about it. The need for analytical skills, it shot up by 83%, and for social skills, 77%. It's so clear. For a long, long time, the biggest rewards have been going to brain power, not manual labor.
So, where did all that brain power go? Well, this chart makes it obvious. Between just 1990 and 2015, jobs in areas like education and healthcare basically doubled. Meanwhile, manufacturing jobs dropped by almost a third. This was a huge transition, and then the big accelerator kicked in.
And that brings us to automation, robotics, and AI. This is the force that takes all those trends we just saw and, well, puts them into overdrive. This is where a lot of that anxiety comes from, so let's just get straight to the numbers.
Here's the first big headline number. This one's from researchers at Oxford. They estimate that 47%, that is nearly half of all U.S. jobs, are at high risk of automation in the pretty near future. Just let that sink in for a second. Nearly half.
And then, a report from McKinsey adds another layer to this. They found that 50% of the actual tasks that people are paid to do right now could be automated with tech that already exists. The key thing here isn't just the number. It's that this isn't science fiction. The tool's already here. And just to make this feel even more real, AI experts have actually put dates on it. They'd predict AI is going to be better than humans at driving a truck by 2027, working in retail by 2031, and I mean, look at this, even highly skilled and creative work, like writing a best-selling book by 2049 or performing surgery by 2053. This isn't just about one industry. This touches every single part of the economy.
Okay, so we have these huge, honestly, pretty scary numbers. But when you ask people how they actually feel about all this, something really strange starts to happen. There's this fascinating contradiction in how we think about automation.
So you ask people about automation's impact on society as a whole, and the overall mood is uneasy. As you can see, worry definitely outweighs optimism by a lot. And based on the numbers we just looked at, that makes total sense. But here's the twist. What happens when you make it personal? When you ask someone, okay, forget about society for a minute. What about your job?
And there it is, what some people call the automation paradox. We can all easily see the risk for other people, fast food workers, drivers, you name it. But when it comes to our own jobs, a majority of us believe we're safe. It's that classic, it won't happen to me way of thinking.
And what's even weirder, most of us actually say that, so far, technology has had a positive impact on our careers. It's made our jobs more interesting, it's created new opportunities, so we've got this massive disconnect between our general anxiety about the future and our own personal positive experiences. All right, so this leads us to the big question, right? The most important one. Given everything we've seen, what do we actually do about it? What are the skills that will really matter in this new economy? When you ask people what skills they think will be vital, a really interesting pattern shows up. Of course, computer and tech skills are right there at the top, but look what's right there with them: working with people, writing and communicating. The clear takeaway here is that the future isn't just about being good with tech. It's about the uniquely human skills that machines just can't copy.
And that theme just keeps going here. People get that it's not about learning one single thing and being done. It's about having access to ongoing training, having a strong foundation in math and science, and even mastering new platforms as they come along. The real message is clear. Success is going to come from being flexible and adaptable.
Okay, so that's the final piece of the puzzle, isn't it? If we know what skills we need, how do we actually go about getting them?
This means we have to fundamentally rethink what education and job training even look like.
And on that front, there's actually some really good news. A strong majority of experts are optimistic. 70% believe we will develop the new training programs we need to get people ready for the jobs of the future. So the question is, what will they look like?
So what does that future of learning look like? Well, experts point to 3 big shifts. First, a much more diverse ecosystem, where learning isn't just about a 4-year degree, but a whole mix of different formats. Second, a laser focus on those uniquely human skills that machines really struggle with, things like creativity and critical thinking. And finally, new ways to get credit for what you know, recognizing that valuable learning happens everywhere, not just in a classroom.
And that brings us to the final question, the one that really, truly matters. Because it's not just about what the experts think or what the data says. The future of work is really just the sum of all of our individual choices. So this leaves us with a personal challenge. In this changing world, what skill will you learn next?